Teachers must constantly reinvest in themselves to learn more about what's available in the world, because the students are using it all the time. And I've found that when teachers reinvest in professional development, they get excited about devices and applications and eventually get on board to do the same thing. What's going to be the difference in teachers that's been there 20 years that don't want to change? But your curriculum is changing, but the technology is changing. How can you not change with the times? The new breed of teachers are coming in, are excited about this technology. We cannot have a school that's not excited about technology. We have to make sure that our students know about netiquette and internet safety. And who's going to be responsible for teaching this? We have to make sure we have a plan. What about teachers who choose not to participate? Mobile devices is a lot to consider. Real computers are still needed. So what's going to be your plan to keep the real computers in the schools? They're still needed. Why? Accessing files. Students need to have access to keyboards. Software and hardware are still needed. What about when viewing large screens? We can't just do away with the technology that's already in the school. We have to make sure we also consider how we're going to upgrade these computers. One of the most challenging aspects of BYOD, in my opinion, is when you have slow computers in the school because you can't afford to upgrade computers, but teachers have newer devices, faster devices, sitting at home. Something to consider, huh? What about logistics? What are we going to do about charging devices when students bring them in? Are they going to be responsible for keeping them charged? Or are we going to have charging stations? A plan must be in place. You can't just say, okay, bring your devices. Who's going to be responsible for taking on that ownership? Who's going to manage and supervise inappropriate uses and holding students and teachers alike accountable? What about students that can't afford devices? We have to consider these things. Is Johnny without a device is going to be treated fairly as if Jonathan comes in without a device? With a device? We have to think about these. You know, as I travel to conferences and visit schools that have BYOD, I picked up a few tips that I think are important. It takes a team effort, I know. We have to encourage teachers and students to take the risk of bringing their own devices or technology in the schools. IT directors must also take some risks as well. Loosen up a little bit. Another good tip is to learn from other successful programs. If we visit other schools or allowed to visit other schools, and if we are allowed to tap into some of the roadblocks that they encountered, then we'll have less roadblocks as we try to implement the program. Parents must be a vital part in the plan development buy-in. They shouldn't be pressured to have to go and buy devices, yet they must know the impact that students could have bringing their own devices in. As a parent, I would be pretty excited about my kid being able to bring in a device that I spend good money for them to get the most use out of it and to learn. After all, this is what's happening in today's society. Everywhere you turn, people are using these devices. We must also build a curriculum with the current standards. Technology and Common Core standards is real big. Learning goals, learning targets, objectives, standards, all of these things have to become more prevalent as we bring these devices into our schools. You have to make sure you have a backup plan. Backup plan in case the device quit in the middle. Do you have extra devices on hand? Are we going to loan devices out? If we loan them out, how long would it be able to keep them? Are we going to have enough to loan out? A plan is needed. Did you know that the White House has developed a BYOD toolkit that offers documents, information, also case studies? This was established in August of 2012. It's called the Digital Services Advisory Group. BYOD tools includes case studies, one of which is the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau. As we turn the calendar to a new year, I'm sure many of you are excited about the new technology strategies and ideas that will help your students and colleagues. Could this be a year for a BYOD program in your school? Think about it.